Hello, darling. I'm just, let me just have a little, get something off my chest as I'm thinking about all this, and then we'll talk properly. But I'm sat here, I'm, what way to enter 2025, but I'm entering my third month of solitary confinement within Wood Hill Prison. After 42 days, they had to go to the government after 42 days of isolation. So whose decision is it? Because I know people get frustrated with the prison. It's not the prison. All decisions to do with me and nothing to do with the jail. They're coming from the government. That was I had to give a written response to my opinion on my isolation.
These officers are tackling these gangs. There is no way that their intelligence system does not tell them that they are drug dealers, they are gangsters, and they are trafficking children.
Right from his prison cell room, Tommy Robinson has made another thrilling revelation about grooming gangs and institutional failures in the UK. While many see the free speech advocate as a figure who divides public opinion, others view him as a controversial provocateur. In his latest ordeal, Robinson speaks from solitary confinement in a maximum secretary prison, describing what he calls a calculated effort to silence him.
Says part of Trump's inner circle is making waves across the Atlantic in the UK, calling for government intervention from a UK prison. His post on X, Free Tommy Robinson, has sparked larger conversations, largely within conservative circles in the US and Britain, with some political leaders now calling for government reform and federal investigations in the UK, all as a result of Musk's recent post. Here's what to know. First, who Tommy Robinson is, what his political cause is, and why he has conservatives in his corner calling for action in Britain. Tommy Robinson is one of Britain's most high-profile political activists on the right, currently jailed in a UK prison on an 18-month sentence after defying a court order preventing him from repeating child abuse allegations he made against a Syrian refugee teenager in 2018 who sued Robinson for libel. The refugee teenager denied the abuse claims and...
Before we continue, I'd like to request a tiny favour from you. If you appreciate this analysis of UK politics, kindly take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Nice. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
How are you feeling, right?
Imagine spending 21 hours a day alone in a tiny cell. That's what Tommy Robinson says his life is like in Wood Hill Prison. As a civil offender, someone convicted of contempt of court, he argues that he should be in a less strict environment, but instead he's in solitary confinement.
I'm telling you, I know how I feel. I feel different. I know I'm only 2 months in. So why am I still being held in solitary confinement? Why am I not in a decap prison? And there's a mental health team there. I said, let me just ask you, is this good for me? She said, no. I said, how bad is it? Because I know how bad it is because I remember what happened last time.
Robinson describes his daily routine, brief moments of exercise, meals alone, and endless hours of isolation.
Prison. What's the difference between that and how I'm being held? When I open prison, you get a job outside. You have a car, you go to work, you go stay at home 5 days a month, you have town visits with your family. So that is the only prison you go to for committing civil offences. Yet I'm shipped to a maximum security jail housing the worst Muslim gangs and jihadists in the country. And then they use that then to say you have to go on solitary confinement. And what is solitary confinement? Well, rapists and terrorists are not on solitary confinement, jihadists aren't. Axel, who done his little stabbing spree, the Muslim lad, I was in Belmarsh on solitary confinement. He was 2 cells above me on healthcare. He's got a job. So they're not under solitary confinement. What day is it today? It's Thursday. My routine tomorrow, Friday. At 8:30, because people say, yeah, I've got the gym. I have got the gym. So at 8:30 in the morning, I'll get collected for the gym. I'll get taken over to another 8 empty unit. I'm on a wing with 16 cells. It's just me. Yeah? Then I get taken through 19 sets of doors to another unit. It's a high security.
Experts in mental health agree that such conditions can severely harm a person's mind. Yet Robinson claims this is a deliberate government decision to punish and break him.
Why shouldn't it be happening? Because that's mental torture. Google solitary confinement. It's a decision that their own mental health teams in here have said will be devastating for my mental health. Yet the government are making a decision to hold me in these conditions for 9 months. I asked this week, how long will I be held like this? 9 months. So you're not going to send me to an open prison? Why not? Why not? And what's the difference? When I got sentenced in Belmarsh, everyone, when I got to prison, everyone who goes to jail now, because the prisons are full, everyone gets 60% off. Not me. I wasn't allowed 60% off. So everyone does. Everyone. I mean, every single prisoner. Because I'm not a criminal offender. I'm a civil offender, so I shouldn't even be in it. I'm not a criminal offender, so I get the 50% off. They get 60. I think some of them get 70 from January. But that's only a difference of a month off. But that's a big difference.
He believes exposes truths. Is this justice? Or is it, as Robinson calls it, mental torture? This treatment raises troubling questions about fairness in the legal system. If the punishment doesn't fit the crime, what does that say about the priorities of those in power?
Posting on X, why is Tommy Robinson in a solitary confinement prison for telling the truth? He should be freed, and those who covered up this travesty should take his place in that cell. In the UK, serious crimes such as rape require the Crown Prosecution Service's approval for the police to charge suspects. Who was the head of the CPS when rape gangs were allowed to exploit young girls without facing justice? Keir Starmer from 2008 to 2013. Musk's string of posts caught the...
Robinson's 18-month sentence for playing a controversial film feels, to many, like an overreach of the justice system. Normally, civil offences like his lead to open prison terms, facilities with more freedom where inmates work and maintain family ties. Instead, Robinson claims he's been placed under maximum security to silence his voice.
Torture is being inflicted on a journalist because he made a film. They don't have to do this. I should be in an open prison. And if they're saying, if their excuses, they brought me here and they put me in isolation, I haven't asked them to isolate me. So they put me in isolation because their excuses I'll get hurt in the prison system. Well, if that was the case, they should still give me the same rights as a decapped prisoner. If a decapped prisoner is only meant to be staying in prison at night and he's meant to go to work, that's what I should be doing. Least of all for making a film. Like the judge is given the power to give 2 years prison sentence for contempt of court without a jury. I've never had a jury, ever.
He also alleges financial intimidation. The government has fined him P81000, and he fears further legal action if he can't pay. This leads to a troubling pattern. Are these penalties meant to correct behaviour or silence dissent? Adding to his claims, Robinson points out that visitors must sign gag orders before seeing him, banning them from discussing his condition. He believes this is part of a broader effort to suppress his story.
Lawmakers, Republican Senator Mike Lee reposting a Robinson video titled "The Rape of Britain, Episode 1.
Our government, our social services and our police forces sacrificed a generation of our daughters.
Or not, his case raises an important question. Can a government truly uphold justice if it's accused of targeting individuals for their beliefs? At the core of Tommy Robinson's narrative is a fierce defense of free speech. He believes his punishment isn't just about breaking a law, it's about silencing dissent. Robinson claims his controversial film, which exposed institutional failures and corruption, garnered over 150 million views. He sees its success as proof that the public is hungry for the truth he says authorities want to hide.
This is the most senior ranking police officers from West Mercia Police. This gentleman is the Police Crime Commissioner. Next to him, or across from him, is the head of the police. This gentleman, it's his job to prevent sexual exploitation of children. Now,
Robinson paints a picture of a government determined to suppress inconvenient voices. He accuses officials of wielding gag orders and isolation as tools to silence him, rather than as measures of justice. For example, visitors who come to see him must sign legal agreements, barring them from discussing his conditions or what they witnessed. Why the secrecy? Robinson asks, framing it as an attack not just on him, but on transparency and public accountability.
But they do not care. They are more interested in taking their photos for diversity. I have tried to find pictures of the police sitting outside the church in Telford. I haven't been able to. Outside the Sikh temple. I haven't been able to. Outside the Hindu temple. I haven't been able to. All of these men, all of them, including him, are directly linked to gangs that rape children in Telford. And this is what you're...
The idea of free speech is central here, but it's complicated. Should all speech be protected, even when it's divisive or disruptive? Robinson insists the film he was punished for served the public good, exposing corruption and institutional failings. But the authorities argue it violated court orders and could have jeopardized ongoing trials.
Britain's Conservative Populist Party, Reform UK, at Trump's Mar-a-Lago, who also spoke out against the establishment regarding the grooming gang scandal. However, GB News in Britain has reported the government has formally rejected requests for investigations into historic child abuse. Currently, it's the UK's left Labour Party in control, led by Keir Starmer, someone Musk has traded jabs with online over a number of political disagreements. That continued following rejection of further investigation into so-called grooming gangs by the Labour Party's Jess Phillips. Musk saying,
This case pushes this question to the forefront. While his supporters hail him as a champion of truth, his critics see a provocateur whose actions may cause more harm than good.
So a 2-year prison sentence, but he wouldn't be given that if it was 2 years of solitary confinement. It's insane. And as that continues, not just that, I now have the Attorney General has now invoiced me. They sentenced me to 18 months, put me on solitary confinement, and now they've charged me £81,000 that they want me to pay by the 7th of January. Well, guess what? I face another contempt of court case. So we're talking about terrorism. This is financial terrorism. The weaponisation of the judiciary to destroy dissident voices. That's exactly what it is.
Whether one agrees with Robinson or not, his story is a powerful reminder of the fragile balance between justice, accountability, and the freedoms we often take for granted. It challenges us to consider the price of free speech and the responsibilities that come with it. International figures, including Elon Musk and politicians from the Netherlands, Poland, and the US, of free speech in modern democracies.
as a weaponized government.
This story is far bigger than Tommy Robinson. This is about the weaponisation and the politicisation of these buildings. Court buildings across the West. The Royal Courts of Justice, ironically named. These buildings have been weaponised and used against members of the public to destroy them if they speak out.
Robinson is behind a docu-series about gang rapes of English girls, which set off social media after Musk put things in motion. Musk posting on X, "Why is Tommy Robinson in a solitary confinement prison for telling the truth? He should be freed, and those who covered up this travesty should take his place in that cell." In the UK, serious crimes such as rape require the Crown Prosecution Service's approval for the police to charge suspects. Who was the head of the CPS when rape gangs were allowed to exploit young girls without facing justice? Keir Starmer from 2008 to 2013. Musk's string of posts caught the attention of U.S. lawmakers. Republican Senator Mike Lee reposting a Robinson video titled "The Rape of Britain, Episode 1.
However, critics remain unconvinced. Many believe Robinson's actions jeopardized legal processes and crossed ethical boundaries. They argue that his tactics, while provocative, lack accountability and nuance, potentially endangering innocent lives. The lack of vocal support from British politicians and mainstream media adds complexity, suggesting either indifference or quiet approval of his punishment.
But again, this ain't so people feel sorry for me. The Justice Nicklin thought he could inflict a gagging order. They think they can lock up the truth. As I said, the film's got 150 million views. How's that going? Now they've given a gagging order to journalists who come and visit me. Anyone who visits me has to now sign a gagging order that they won't speak about how I am. Why is that? Probably because they know full well that there's a downward spiral of solitary confinement. That's what's going to happen. They know what's going to happen. They have their experts, their mental health teams, which I've asked myself. So they know full well.
Despite his circumstances, Tommy Robinson remains defiant, promising to escalate his efforts upon release. Central to his plans is a new documentary, which he claims will expose political figures involved in grooming scandals. He frames this as a moral duty to continue his investigative work, regardless of the risks.
Someone for 9 months. Will it break me? That's it. When you understand why they're doing it, it is to break me. That's the intention of it. It won't break me. I'll come out of here with my head held high, whether it be from a decal, which I doubt, but I'm grateful that Ezra, I'm grateful that he's going to be fighting this, because he always taught me to fight everything. He's been fighting this through the legal system. I don't have much hope in any legal system because there's no jury. I've never had a jury. I faced a terrorism case on the 20th of March. Now I face a terrorism case.
This was Tommy Robinson's condition after just 9 weeks in solitary confinement. Now, he'll be in solitary confinement for 18 months for a civil offence. This is the barbaric torture method the British state is using to weaken him. Now, his future is fraught with uncertainty. He faces additional legal challenges, including a potential terrorism case for refusing to unlock his phone, a decision Robinson defends as protecting journalistic sources. Does his condition require swift international response, aside from Elon's involvements? Let us know in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.